Two former TI champions matching up against each other here in the upper bracket at MDL Disneyland. Team Liquid, of course, the TI7 champs who have kept the same roster. Evil Geniuses, only two TI winners here, and only one of them from the TI5 Evil Geniuses. That would be sumaiL, but we've also got S4 in there, the TI3 winner. It feels like both these teams, though, their best glory days are kind of behind them, and they're looking to be able to reclaim the top dog spot. Because I look at both these teams, and they were, at one time, best in the world, but of the last year or so, it feels like they're more consistently top three, but not necessarily the grand final winners at the end of the day.
You see what S4 just did there, by the way?
Of course, that's a classic.
It's dope.
Running in.
Stack up the return.
Stack up the retaliate stacks.
Retaliate.
So the very first wave that you get, you try and secure every single CS, which will give you a fast level 2.
They should change that. I feel like
Probably.
that's an unintended mechanic to just walk in, tank tower shots, and then get free stacks. But I love this matchup, by the way. This is I have love for both teams. Yeah. I used to work with Liquid. I like the EG guys, but one of them has to go down. I want to see some high-skill Dota.
Yeah, it feels like very similar to the matchup of Virtus Pro and Team Liquid that we got to cast during the group stage.
Mind Control uses Treant. He's going to zone out 2 heroes, which he does very well on this hero. You want to know a fun fact about Matuma Man Brood?
I would love to know a fun fact about Matuma Man Brood.
Which is actually going to be paired up against a Centaur mid because this is an unplayable matchup for Mirana.
Yeah.
You can't arrow Brood. Let me just... And your Starfall doesn't do enough damage to clear the Spiderlings, so it's actually just impossible. But, like, Centaur's got a chance because of his Retaliate plus his Double Edge.
Yeah, at least, like, Brood can't harass you really out of lane too much because you're getting Retaliate stacks back at him.
Oh, sumaiL's getting the treatment. Let me say, as a mid laner, when I have to play off lane and I'm not used to getting what we call the treatment, which is just having 3 heroes hit you, it doesn't feel too great. Let me just...
Is that what we call it now? The treatment?
The treatment. It's always been the treatment.
I thought the treatment was the other way around. When you're a mid player and you constantly get like 2 supports rotating into your lane.
It's both.
It's both the treatment.
The off lane treatment, the mid
lane treatment. The safe lane treatment is being able to have a defensive tri-lane around you and you AFK farm the entire time.
Also known as like the Rezo. That's my boy, and I'm still gonna call it that. As laning phase-wise, I mean, things should be pretty slow to get going. Like, I don't think Puck Mirana gets kills, so I can tell you my story now. All right, so Matuma Man's playing, like, pub games, and this is my favorite part about Dota.
Yeah.
This is my absolute favorite part about Dota, is he's playing pub games before TI, about, like, 4 or 5 months. He's on his Smurf, and he sees this, like, Russian Brood player who just dominates, and... you know, Matuma Man adds him, and the guy's like, what's up? And he's like, hey, I'm Matuma Man, don't tell anybody. Like, I'm just going to add you to watch your replays. And he just went through, asked him a bunch of questions in Google Translate, and they just, like, he just grinded Brood by watching this guy's replays. That's how he won TI, by just grinding Brood. That's how he won TI.
And that says something, you can't have an ego.
Yeah, he's
right,
just
to
like,
be able to do something like that. He could, like other players, I could see them being like, I'm a pro player, I could figure that out.
No,
but for him to go and take away his ego and ask for help like that.
I mean, the way he learned Lycan was by watching Cheesy replays. Is that bottom crit?
Stun, Burrow Strike. Crit is going to be able to jump away to the orb, but he's already slowed down by the Splinter Blast, so he is dead. GH will pick up the first blood.
Very well done. And, I mean, this is just a tri-lane that isn't really going to get aggressive against this morph. I don't think they expected the whole Brood situation to have to switch everything around.
Speaking of that, the panel felt like they were both siding with Liquid because of that. Do you think that Broodmother is like one of those be-all last picks that just secured them the draft win?
I think the problem with playing against Brood right now in this game is that it switches your bottom lane around too hard. Like, it just makes... almost losing the courier here, but should be just fine. But I do think this bottom lane is not meant to be the lane that they expected. As the arrow's going to
nice arrow. It went through the trees. Caught GH by surprise. He does have a Burrow Strike. He has a Sandstorm, but doesn't have a chance to blow either one as the silence chained perfectly with the arrow stun.
This is very well done. I didn't think they were going to be able to get kills down here. Like, that was the one situation that they were going to get kills in. And remember, sumaiL probably one of the most prolific Mirana players. The game that I'll always remember, no matter like when I'm done with Dota is EGE home.
The arrow.
When he timed it for the jug.
With that jug on the flash, lined it up on pretty much the whole creep wave, so no matter where he ended up dropping, he would get hit by the arrow.
Yeah, that was so sick. And we're actually going to see the rotation from GH. I love playing Sand King, by the way, against Dro. You get up in his face. He can't really fight you. You're just like, you crab walk over to him. GH is actually going to eat one of these creeps.
I think it feels really good when you have cores that can get on top of Dro Ranger, but it almost feels better when you have a support that can do it.
Yeah.
You know, because you're always willing to sacrifice your supports to be able to achieve something. And sometimes I feel like, you know, these heroes that try and get on top of the Dro Ranger, these cores, they end up out of position because they're so focused on getting on top of the Dro Ranger. Whereas, like, somebody like a Sand King just getting on top of the Dro and popping Sandstorm, like, you're never going to feel bad about that.
Yeah, we saw that in the VP game versus Liquid, when Liquid actually ended up losing with the Dro against Roger Sand King. And that's what I meant about Dota, is, like, the constant, like, everyone just steals from each other, right?
Yep.
You steal from pub players, you steal from other pro teams. All, information is very public in that regard, and so like everyone has the ability to improve at the same rates and kind of understand what everyone's doing. There's no like hidden barrier of knowledge that I think a lot of people think there is. Like, you know, you want to do something, just watch Matema Brood replays, and you'll get the same experience he did. As
good burrow strike. Arteezy is in a bit of trouble here, but there's already the Maledict on Mind Control. Mind Control realizes that without the Dro Ranger, he can actually just straight up fight Fly, even with the Maledict on him. There's going to be another burrow strike coming up, and Fly should be dying here, as they are going to swap lanes, actually. They're going to bring sumaiL over here. Nails him with another great arrow. sumaiL pops the Starstorm, and that will be all for GH. They trade out supports there. They do also... Oh.
No, they didn't switch.
So Arteezy TP'd to the Shrine, right?
Yeah.
So now sumaiL is in a lane that he doesn't want to be in.
Yeah, this actually... people never realize this, but this is a little bit like... It's not really worth what you got there.
No.
Like, people will see the kill, and they'll say, like, oh, sumaiL, sick rotation, but... At the same time, like, now sumaiL's in a position where he has to run all the way bottom, and all he got was 250 gold.
Oh, Jesus, and he almost killed Matema. That was a very low percentage gank that somehow almost worked.
Yeah. This is what I mean. Like, he's now lost, like, what is it,
at
about
least
a minute and a half?
Yeah, two, 3 waves.
No way, it was 1 wave. It was like, it's been quite a few waves right now. And they're going to go for this gank on Matema. Like, ganking this Brood is not easy.
Like, how are you going to do this without high levels of Starstorm, without Coil, without anything?
I'm not sure. I mean, maybe if Matema just doesn't...
Matema gets into the trees. sumaiL. Even if he throws out the arrow, like, they can't really get on top of him when he's on that cliff area like that. So they're just going to ensure the mid-tier 1 tower, so...
Yeah, and, but I'm not sure, like, sumaiL was necessary for... Like, now you're a level 4 Mirana at 7 minutes. This has now been about 2.5 minutes of this, where it's like... I remember I saw, like, one play. The biggest example of this was, do you recall KuroKy when he played Clockwork in that game?
Yeah.
He played Clockwork against... I can't remember what team it was.
Yeah.
It was, like, Keen or something like that, and he TPs off the lane away from, like, to gank his safe lane, and then he has to run all the way top. That was rough. It was team. It was team.
Yeah, his lane was so terrible that he felt like he couldn't do anything and had to rotate around. Fly is going to get pretty easily picked off here in that jungle area. Miracle getting aggressive with his Winter Wyvern.
The good news for EG, though, is that the Centaur, I mean, if anyone's going to mid lane for you, S4 is not a bad choice. Like, this guy is very, very good mid laner, very mechanically skilled. He's had a great time mid. He's already picked up the Vanguard, but it's just sumaiL's game because of the switch that they had to make.
Oh, the arrow lands on a Miracle. They're going to get the TP in for the Centaur to chain that stun, and with that magic damage, that Cold Embrace doesn't make a difference. Kuro doesn't actually have the Arctic Burn up, so he can't really fly away to safety here, but he may find a haste rune. That'll help him get away. The arrow should easily be dodged by Kuro. It is... I
guess the one way to do it is just to keep hitting, like, these arrows.
Oh, crit. He threw the next round of webs to give his spiders the extra bit of movement speed to get the kill. He actually got it. Very well played by Matema. And this is just what happens when a last pick Broodmother shows up and you don't have the heroes to deal with it. You've got awkward lanes. You've got supports that just feed away kills anytime they get near the webs.
Yeah. Good news for EG2, though, is that, I mean, Dro's just great. You saw Kuro's interview after the game where he's like, I don't think Dro's broken, but I think she's very close.
Yeah.
Which I think is just Kuro speak for she's broken. He's just very loath to call anything like OP. He's one of those players. Like, it's not OP. Anyone can beat it.
Yeah, you just need the right composition.
Nah, but it's I think he knows too that this hero's.
So what I mean, if he says like it's very strong, not quite broken, but very strong, why do you think he gave it to EG? Is it the same thing they did against VP, where both teams are trying to have a solution?
Yeah, exactly. You need one, and this is this is the really cool part of like these long tournaments that people should always realize is like this drafting meta begins, and every team is trying to set it.
Yeah,
it's like a race almost for every single team to be like, I figured this out before you have, and once you have, if you figured out how to beat something or you introduce a new concept, that's when you become a scary team. It's like what Secret was trying to do with their Pudge yesterday, as they're going to invis up. It's the ability to introduce that concept like, oh, we're going to start picking Pudge now. If we keep winning with it with first 2 pick Pudge, you'll have to ban it. Maybe we don't even think this hero's broken. Maybe we just think it's good, but now it's just in your head that teams keep losing to it. Maybe this is the reason why teams keep losing to it, and then everyone starts thinking about the Pudge and not focusing on Nisha's morph pick and stuff like that.
Right.
It's all about introducing the next concept of Dota, and
S4 is going to pop the Stampede here to make sure he can get out. Didn't really think he was that threatened because he's got Phase Voot Vanguard, almost 2,000 HP, but he must have assumed that there was going to be a lot more behind that gank.
He's the most armed hero in the game on his team. Like,
so he's trying to be very protective of like that farm.
He's got a lot. He's got a lot of levels, too. There's no way that he wants to risk that. The most armed hero in the overall game, of course, being Matama Man on that Brood, who, if you just click his hero, this like it feels, you know, it's some real feels bad man stuff. It's like you've got Medallion, Diffusal. He's got an AC queued up. I remember one time he went for like Butterfly second item. I can't remember. There must be somebody in Twitch chat that knows the game. I think it was at like ESL Hamburg or something, and they ended up losing.
Yeah.
And I think he learned from that, and he's like, I probably need armor against this Dro.
Yeah. Starts going for S4 here. The Retaliate stack's not doing much. Even if they don't get the kill, they can at least secure the tower.
They're going to get the
by
kill.
Forcing S4 back. There's going to be an arrow coming. Matumba Man backs up.
One hit the Spiderlings. Oh, sumaiL.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, somebody died.
You got to be careful of that minus armor mixed with all that physical damage from those Spiderlings.
Oh, boy. He actually just dropped.
Yeah, he exploded.
All right, that's... I mean, I thought...
really bad.
I was... All right, so if there's any way they're going to win this at this point, I think it just has to come down to RTZ. Like, he's got to do Dro things. I think that's the only way right now that...
But how?
But how?
How do you do Dro things against Broodmother? Like, what are you looking for him to do?
I think he just needs to power level farm.
Oh, flies dead.
Because right now, I think this Matama Man Brood pick, it was such a nice trump card.
Good catch on to GH here. He's going to start popping the epicenter. They don't have a stun to be able to stop it, but he is going to fall here. Now sumaiL thinking about throwing out the arrow. There's going to be some neutral creeps in his way. Now he throws it out. Mind Control does manage to dodge it, but the Stampede is going to allow them to catch up eventually here. Mind Control is trying to juke the stun from S4, but S4 is just going to wait it out until he finally gets fully on top of the Furion, guaranteeing the kill. But Matumba Man, who had his mid-tier 1 tower kill delayed so long by S4, the moment S4 leaves, he takes both the mid-tier 1 tower and the tier 2 just back to back.
Yeah, and what this is going to allow him to do, too, is take over this triangle of farm away from the Dro Ranger, which I think is so important. Like, if you play Dro, you love this area. You know, you just love to sit here, farm for like 30 minutes and be like, guys, like, are we winning? I've got tons of levels. How about you guys? But my game is sick. Because you just... this is the PvE farm. This is the cow runs. If anybody ever played Diablo 2, like you just sit here, get a ton of levels.
And they don't really have a good way to flush the Broodmother out.
Not
all
yet,
the time,
anyways.
right?
I mean, you can start doing it now that Puck has like a bunch of levels.
Yeah.
And he's got like 440. I think you can just go in coil. Like that's your best opportunity at killing the Brood.
Yeah.
Luckily for them, like they did draft some ways to deal with the Brood, coincidentally. Where I mean, it's not like the best Brood game I've ever seen. It's a very good one, let me say.
Yo, I'm just saying at some point, I would love to see an Aghanim Centaur just for the free path walking against Broodmother. You could actually chase her through the trees.
The bottom,
S4, look at this
know.
line shadow. They're going to get to the back line, but Liquid has plenty of vision in this area. And if EG isn't careful, they're the one's going to be caught by surprise. As there is that Blink Dagger on GH Epicenter coming up in 3 seconds.
That's a cool defensive ward. And I've talked ad nauseum about like how you often run into the trap of not being able to defend this tower, but it's because they weren't able to mirror. Like oftentimes what'll end up happening is you take top tower, they take bottom tower, that's the trade. But Liquid has done a very good job of keeping up this area and being very fast. Like Mind Control solo took that top tower as crit. Gonna get run into at least, break a few smokes. And Crit is not the hero that they want to go on because he does have that orb, and I don't think they know that he's got 0 levels of phase shift.
He really does. I can't blame him for that whatsoever. They need the
kill
burst damage, yeah.
Yeah, it's the kill Spiderling build. But that is the reason they were able to defend that bottom tower. Is because oftentimes like the Morph has to rotate with Mind Control to take that top tower, but it was just the simple rotation of GH that was able to do it. As they're going to go for the smoke the second time around towards this bottom lane because they really want to take that bottom tower.
Yeah.
Like I will always say in my Dota cast, the 2 things that you want to do is take the enemy safe lane tower and the mid tower as
they're going to go for mid, the Broodmother, bottom lane. They aren't going to be able to get the epicenter onto Arteezy, who baited himself out thinking his team was going to rotate over, but instead they went for mid, and now Fly is going to die to the Broodmother. Matumbaman hasn't taken a lick of damage, so now he sees his opportunity to get his hero in the fight as well. Chasing after S4, 2 heroes down from Evil Geniuses. S4 will be able to blink backwards, but straight into the Arctic Burn of Kuro. Slowly but surely, he's going to be run down here. Does have the Stampede, though. Held on to it for a while. Actually runs back in. Now that that movement speed is gone, fortunately he did hit a good stun on the Matumbaman, though.
This is so rough.
This is so hard.
Let me just say, playing Witch Doctor right now versus Broodmother, like Fly would rather be anywhere else.
Yeah. S4 jumping straight for the Winter Wyvern. Oh, Jesus. That damage. Look at that. 377 damage. Insane. What a maxed out Retaliate can do for you with phase boots.
They've got BKB now on the Brood. They're going to want to do Roshan soon. This is your way of absolutely securing the game, I think.
Yeah.
You go for the Rosh, and then you can try to broach high ground. They know that sumaiL just simply doesn't have enough farm yet. The good news for sumaiL, though, is like because you have a Dro that has had, I'd say, like a pretty good game. He hasn't really participated in kills, but his net worth, despite like the tower disadvantage, you know, they only have 1. It has not lagged that far behind whatsoever. He is still above the Nature's Prophet, so he's just going to give you aura, right? And you get a free, what was it? Last time we used Gloves of Haste.
Yeah.
He's going to give him 4 Gloves of Haste. That's 2,000 gold, dude. But it is going to be a Roshan like we discussed.
But can this lineup even win late game? Like they're behind 7,000 net worth right now against the Brood lineup.
Austin, hush. We don't
we don't talk about that.
It's like, you know, we're like parents that are fighting or something. We don't let our audience, our kids, like we don't let them know that this game is probably over.
It's already over. But
we just gotta.
But it's an exciting game, ladies and gentlemen. It's 8-6 at 8,000 net worth lead by Liquid right now. But who knows? Evil Geniuses can make the greatest comeback.
Who knows? Not me.
We all thought that EG versus eHome was over. eHome was dominating that game, so who knows? EG can make another sick comeback like that.
Liquid is going to go for the high ground right now. Very unpredicted with this Aegis Morphling as...
Arrow coming in. Look at that. S4 actually kills the spiders, so the arrow can come in and actually nail Matumbaman. He has the Maledict on him. Fortunately, there's going to be the Winter's Curse. Matumbaman pops his BKB, but he can't actually lifesteal off of this Centaur because he's invulnerable right now. Now the Stampede goes down. Matumbaman heals a little bit. GH is going to die underneath all of this. A really great death ward in the back lines. S4 stays alive, but unfortunately for sumaiL, he gets popped by that Wrath of Nature. Arteezy is unable to save that top tier 3 as well. That was actually I legit think this was a dream engagement for EG, and they're still going to lose it pretty heavily here. Unless Miracle somehow dies, he's overextended himself. He's going to die once here for sure.
He doesn't have Manta up on the way.
He doesn't have Manta, but they don't have silences? I don't think either silence is up right now. They do have the Spirit Vessel, though. That's going to be very important. Miracle is able to get the other side of the cliff, though. Matumba Man does the same, thanks to the webs. S4 has his blink up, though. He's going to be able to catch Matumba Man.
He doesn't have BKB right now, and this is going to force him to backpedal at least a little bit, but he pops the ult. They're just trying to kite right now. Do not underestimate the damage that this puck puts out.
They really want to be able to just lure Liquid back into another bad engagement, but as it is, Liquid are a disciplined enough team.
Shrines are up. Shrines are up. Just get back, get Shrines. I think part of the problem right now for Liquid is, if they have any problems, is that Mind Control decided to go for this Hand of Midas build. And so he doesn't actually have any items that allow him to engage right now. Like, your Nature's Prophet right now is Treants. That is his contribution in these engagements.
Yeah, they don't even... Do they have a Vlad's? It looked like he has the Ring of Bacillus, but isn't completing the Vlad's.
Yeah, he's in
Nobody
fact
on
go
the team
for
has it.
the Orchid. I think the Orchid is sick this game. Like,
Yeah.
it forces a lot of different heroes to kind of be useless.
But Man spotted by the arrow, but not going to be hit by it. Instead, going to be
It
able
goes
to
on
grab
GH.
here.
It actually hits GH. The flyby. Oh, don't feed away Broodlings. I don't love this. I don't like that.
You know, somehow, like, I've watched Evil Geniuses, like, get
bottom though.
kills and
They got
stuff,
another
and
kill.
they aren't going to be able to get Mind Control here.
This is how you start the comeback.
But how have I watched these kills happen? And I've seen Liquid's net worth lead go from 8,000 to 9,000, 10,000. It's still a 9K. Like, even when they're getting their pickoffs, they're still losing on net worth.
The important part is that I'm not sure. I mean, the majority of it comes from the fact that the Brutes just, like, everyone's still farming.
Yeah.
So when they do die, they've already built up their lead a little bit. They took the Shrines, to be fair.
Yeah.
But if you're EG, like, this is... If there is a comeback in the works, this is how you do it. You just, like, chip away the lead. I think going for a straight 5-on-5 fight right now is still quite scary for them.
And we should say that, TP in. They're going to try and go for Arteezy. Arteezy desperately needs help. He cannot afford a pick off here as he's already a little bit low on net worth. He's going to go for the TP out. They don't have a disable, apparently. Oh, they do. Winter's Curse is up. Arrow actually not going to land on Mind Control. Evil Genius is going to try and come back in and see if they can bail out Arteezy, but he's dead to the Broodmother. They have the Maledict.
So it's like an okay
A
fight.
lot of burst damage onto this Broodmother. There is going to be that Cold Embrace, but the magic damage is going to cut him down anyway. They do have the cast bouncing over onto Miracle. GH goes into the back line, finds the big hit onto both of Mirana as well as the Witch Doctor. Jump forward from Miracle, turning into Mirana, trying to get some damage onto Crit. Crit managed to dodge a little bit, but the waveform should be enough to finish him off now. sumaiL knows he can't take a man fight against Miracle either. S4 hits a stun onto GH. The arrow isn't up from sumaiL. They don't have a chain stun for him, so we will be able to burrow strike back. But S4 continues to chase, blinking forward, getting more damage on him. They spot GH one more time, get the Spirit Vessel. He will fall. 3 dead on the side of Liquid. Evil Geniuses, though, did have to buy back, and somehow Mind Control found a courier at bottom lane. What's it doing down there?
I don't know, but he got a courier plus they forced 3 buybacks. And that fight kind of looked okay for EG to start. They killed Matumba Man. They had to use so much to kill Arteezy. But where it really turned around was GH coming up over the top. Even we didn't see him, nor did JJ. Coming out of nowhere, hitting that epicenter on 2 in the back line. And that's what we love about the Sand King in this game. That point stun against heroes like that Mirana makes it really hard for her to play. But Matumba Man still, I mean, at least his farm progression has been slowed down like crazy. Yeah. We've seen him with this BKB. He hasn't really picked up anything aside from the Hyperstone in the last, like, 6 minutes. Because he had this BKB when they went for the Roshan. So their game has been slowed down quite a bit.
And I like this choice from Crit going for the Aghanims next.
Oh,
on the puck. Just no Blink Dagger whatsoever, and Aghanims would do so much for them when it comes to kiting that Broodmother.
They just need to be able to lock people in place. And this BKB Brood, it would hamper her game quite a bit.
Yeah.
And it's all about right now saving Arteezy and trying to keep him alive, because we do see he does last for quite a bit with this Hurricane Pike. It's just he needs more items at this point. Like, he needs more and more and more. Doesn't quite have enough. As you see Crit at bottom, this is a cool move. He's just walking around trying to break smokes. As Liquid is smoking, but they're smoking to the Shrine area to just get a little bit more gold to their lead. And I mean, Liquid have played this game very well. I mean, they've been very formulaic and systematic about how they've done things.
Yeah.
Just like very clean. Let's go from here to here to here.
The only time the game's gotten like ever messy for them was, I think, pushing high ground. And pushing high ground is just naturally a messy game in and of itself. It's hard to make no mistakes.
I think both teams are playing pretty well.
Yeah.
Like I think EG's playing pretty well considering the circumstances of having to move their mid laner to the off lane, and
I am impressed they haven't lost yet.
yeah, I thought this game would
that's
be...
basically, that is impressive that they haven't lost a lane of Rax, only a tier 3.
If Liquid wins this game, though, it's going to do so much for them because now you're adding another look. It's like what we said about introducing the meta, like setting things. If Liquid's like, oh, by the way, guys, you have to worry about Brood again. Like, we're going to do that to you.
Yeah.
We have no qualms about it.
And it's a great answer to the Drow Ranger meta.
Yeah, this is
currently happening.
This is going to introduce a new wrinkle. Whereas if EG beats it, it'll show all the other teams, like, they can bleed.
13-12. Even game in kills, but not so much in net worth. It's currently sitting 11,000. The Broodmother way ahead of everybody else. It's actually, and I think that's a big part of the problem, right? It's S4 still top of the net worth for Evil Geniuses. Not the Drow Ranger, not the Mirana, not any of the heroes that can actually scale as good right clickers. It's the melee initiator.
I don't mind that though.
Yeah.
I actually see like some small way for them to win this game, and it's off the back of the Centaur just being unkillable. Because if you look at the damage, it's not that scary from Liquid. Like once you get past the Broodmother curve and you just get a bunch of armor items, I think it's actually all right.
Between the Moonlight Shadow and the Drow Ranger aura that you keep on popping, they're doing a good job of split pushing and just buying themselves more time to be able to farm up. You could see the Moonlight Shadow. They're trying to use it here to cut another creep wave. Mind Control sticks with it to make sure the Siege Wagon will pass by.
Dude, of course they're good at that. Like they come from the region where killing creeps is number one. Let me say, NA. I've lived in every region. I was in CE for Zephyr for over a year. I was in Europe for 2 years when we worked to join Dota. I've played in NA. I used to play to China as well when I was in Korea. And let me say, like NA hits creeps like it's like a job. Like you get paid for that. At the end of the day, they have those like guys that like play WoW to farm gold. Well, we do that for free. We'll hit those creeps for you free of charge. Let me tell you, you don't got to pay me.
You had 500 CS. You got minus 25 MMR, but ignore that part.
Yeah, you don't have to tell Jaimari that he's got to hit creeps for 40 minutes. Like, he's going to do that.
S4 is going to be spotted here. Shiva is trying to go on top of man, but a fast BKB goes out. Now the Stampede to retreat. That is a good use of
They need to disengage off the BKB.
This BKB.
The arrow.
Ooh, slide up. He actually nails the Morphling. But he's already morphed into strength, and Evil Geniuses do not feel comfortable going into that high ground.
There was no
matter
way.
How tempting
It was a DD
arrow
morph.
stun that
It was a DD morph. You're not fighting him. It was hype, though. I didn't actually... That arrow missed every intended target. But they want to fight now. There's no BKB on the Brood.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is actually the best possible time EG is going to get to actually get maybe like a decent fight off.
Oh, but look at that. The double damage is going to wear off. That is, thankfully for Evil Geniuses, they still have a small window where they can get
They gotta go now.
They need to be able to get that orb inside and jump, but unfortunately, that is too late.
It's time to get out.
Already on to Miracle. They do land the arrow onto Mind Control, but Evil Geniuses, especially without having Stampede, they don't want to get close to Liquid right now. They know they do not have that great disengage tool.
That was such a cool move by Liquid. They just moved as a wave towards that Roshan, and I think that's what hurt EG right there, is they didn't anticipate the speed of which like Liquid got there in. I think they thought they probably had another 5-10 seconds, but I mean, Brood NP plus Morph is going to take Roshan really quick. And Liquid did not hesitate walking into that pit.
GH does manage to get the Burrow Strike right here.
He TP'd into the arrow.
Oh, he TP'd into the arrow. Oh, no. They're going to go for the fast kill, but there is Miracle here. Bam! He just takes out sumaiL. The Moonlight Shadow will help Arteezy get away. They thought they had laid a trap for Mind Control, but that's the thing. Liquid know they're ahead. They're going to play this 5-man style as much as possible, even when you think you have a pick-off. There's so many heroes of Liquid behind that one.
I mean, what saved that was the same thing.
Fly, no!
Fly don't care.
They're going to be able to catch him with the coil, force out a BKB. They will. That is now 6-second BKB for Matumba Man.
And it's always scary going high ground with Brood with low BKB charges. But yeah, what saved him right there was the Crimson Guard from GH. Like GH being as farmed as he is, and this really smart item choice, going for the Crimson Guard, made it so that, I mean, normally he would die in 4 hits there.
Yeah.
But really nice arrow anyways. Like, the timing of it was fantastic. There was literally no time for Mind Control to pop his BKB.
S4 dares to jump outside the pit. He's got 3,000 HP with the Shivas, so I don't blame him for thinking about that. And they've got to get an initiation, otherwise they're just going to get their buildings chipped away by Broodmother and Morphlings. So
they're going to wait for all their heroes to be up 10 seconds.
S4's got to be careful, though. Oh, the Burrow Strike misses, and now the Silence on a Miracle. He's going to pop the Manta, goes for the one-shot onto S4. He is dead. He doesn't actually have buyback. That is real troublesome for Evil Geniuses. You said in order to win this game, it's going to be a large part on the back of this Centaur. And now, if Liquid just dare to keep going, they may be able to take 2 or 3 lanes of racks with this full minute of the Centaur gone.
Yeah, they're being tentative right now because they think that there's a good chance that S4 has buyback, but they'd be wrong.
Paralyzing Cast going to bounce around, does nail back to Matumba Man here. Big nukes, not going to be enough to kill the Witch Doctor. Now they get the coil out. Matumba Man does have his BKB, and he's going to pop it. His GH hits a beautiful Burrow Strike. He doesn't manage to get off the epicenter, though, but still, Crit is dead, and Diffuser Blade slowing down sumaiL while he goes for Arteezy. Moonlight Shadow's going to go out. Evil Geniuses, with only 3 alive, have to poke and prod at Liquid and somehow stop them from getting off these Raxes, but also not die to the initiation as GH finds another jump for Arteezy. They're going to finish up this mid lane of Rax. 20 seconds now for the Centaur, but still a full minute for the Puck, and they need that Dream Coil pretty badly, and look how fast Miracle does take down these buildings. Evil Geniuses just seemingly do not have a response here. That is going to be Megas, and that is going to be Evil Geniuses calling it here. A valiant effort by the North American team to stretch this game out, but to be honest, it just looked over from the draft.
Oh, yeah, it was.
The way the lanes were set